Hey all, the song we're going to do is Rocky Raccoon, the Beatles song. It's a lot of fun to play. It's relatively easy to play, but it throws people off sometimes because the chords themselves look a little scary sometimes. There's a A minor 7 and a G7 and a sus4. When you look at those, you're like, what the heck are those chords? I'll show you how to play them. They're relatively easy, and it's one more great song to have in your repertoire. The song is also really cool because it has a nice jangly sound to it. There's a walk down in there too, so that can help your skills as well. This song, like all the songs we do here, is for our CoachArt kids. I'll tell you more about CoachArt later. But CoachArt is a fantastic organization. We provide music, STEM, and lots of other stuff for kids with long-term illnesses. And just check it out. Great organization. Let's get started. As always, in the description below, I'll have a link to the lyrics and the chords, so just make sure you hit that link and print everything out so you have it in front of you. That'll help you a lot as you're learning the song. Alrighty then, so the first chord we're going to need is an A minor 7, and that's just an A minor with our pinky on the 3rd fret, high E string. Gives it that nice little sound. The next chord we're going to need is a D7 sus4. That's just a regular old D7, and our pinky's in the exact same place as it was before on the high E string, 3rd fret. When we take our pinky off, that gives us the D7. We need that as well. An open G, regular old open G, good old cowboy chord. And then a G7, which is just moving our ring finger up from that high E, which is doing a lot of work on that 3rd fret, to the D string on the 3rd fret. We need a C, regular old C. And then it's called a B over C, which sounds kind of crazy, but all we're doing is lifting up our ring finger and then moving our middle finger, which is on the 2nd fret, up to the A string, giving us a B note. Play that. That's all the chords we need. Let's get cranking on the song. What's interesting about the song is that there's no chorus to it, and it's just one verse after the other repeated. You may call the beginning an intro, but I call it just a verse because you're using the same chord pattern throughout the entire song. It's the same thing over and over again. So once you learn it once, you got the whole thing down, right? So it starts off with the A minor 7, right? And we do that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another measure of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then to the D7 sus4. That's the D7 with our pinky down. 1, 2. Lift up the pinky. 3, 4. Over to a G, 1, 2, to the G7, that's moving our ring finger up to the D, 3, 4, over to the C, 1, 2, and then to the B over C, 3, 4, and then we're back to the A minor 7 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, D7 sus4, 1, 2, D7, 3, 4, G, 1, 2, G7, 3, 4, C, 1, 2, B over C, 3, 4. Right? Just learn how to play that, and you got the entire song down. Alrighty then, now that we know the chords, let's think about ways we can play it. When I hear the song, I think about two things. Especially. The first is how Paul McCartney really hits that first beat in each measure. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I'm playing, I try to accentuate that beat. The other thing is it's a very jangly song, right? So, and to get that jangly sound, I like to think about hitting the higher strings, the high E, the B, and the G, to get that jangly sound. Now, you know me, I don't like to tell anybody how you should be strumming a song. Strumming comes from your heart, from your soul. and just play it the way you feel it. But I want to give you a couple ideas of what you could do, right? Just to get you started. So the first thing is you could just hit that bass note, so that A bass note on the A minor 7, right? So if you're playing the A minor 7, right? That's a nice sound, right? I think that's kind of something like Paul McCartney is doing in the beginning, right? That. You could do the same thing when you're playing the D7 sus4 or the D7, that kind of sound, right? So that's a good way to accentuate that first beat. I tend not to do that. I tend to just kind of bang the strings a little harder on that first beat and then take it from there. The other thing is that jangly nature that we were talking about. So like we said, you get that jangly sound from those higher strings. So when I'm strumming, I try to do my strums on that higher set of strings, so it gets that sound. So things I could do is something like this. Right, those higher set of strings can get that jangly sound for you. Here's something you can do when you're playing the C, right? So the regular old open C. You can do the bass note thing, right? Which I do half the time, and the other half I don't. And then when you get to the B over C, you can do the same thing, hitting that bass note. And then you go to the A minor 7. So in context, it might sound something like this. Again, and that's a bit of a walk down, right? So the C to the B note, A minor 7. Right? So that's another fun thing you can do with that C. Rocky Raccoon, that's a great song. I love playing that. I play that one all the time. A lot of fun to play, and it's also a really good warm-up as well. So we do these songs like we do all the songs for our kids over at CoachArt. CoachArt is a terrific organization. Provides music, art, STEM, lots of services for kids and their siblings who have long-term illnesses and disabilities. So check out CoachArt. I have a link in the description below. Learn more about the organization. Maybe you want to support us, and maybe you want to join us. So have a great day. Take care, everybody. Hey, all. I'm back. I thought it'd be fun if we just try to play through. Listen to the song, maybe give you a couple ideas, try and play along with it, and we'll get started. Somewhere in the Black Mountain hills of Dakota, there lived a young boy named Rocky Raccoon. One day his moon ran off with another guy, hit young Rocky in the eye. Rocky didn't like that. He said, "I'm gonna get that boy." So one day he walked into town, booked himself room at the local saloon. Rocky Raccoon checked into his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Rocky had come equipped with a gun to shoot off the legs of his rival. His rival, it seems, had broken his dreams by stealing the girl of his fancy. Her name was McGill. She called herself Earl, but everyone knew her as Nancy. Now she and her man called himself Dan, were in the next room at the hoedown. Rocky burst in, grinning a grin. He said, "Danny, boy, this is a showdown." But Danny was hot. He drew first collapsed in the corner. Now the doctor came in, stinking of gin, proceeded to lie on the table. Said, Rocky, you met your match. Rocky said, Doc, it's only a scratch, but I'll be better as soon as I am able. Now Rocky Raccoon fell back in his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Gideon checked out, he left it no doubt to help with Rocky's revival. That's Rocky Raccoon. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was a good lesson. Any questions, just let me know.